Hi everybody, welcome back to VV's Views, and today is episode 18. So, what do you have? What do we have for today? Thanks to your cameraman and my wife who helped us out with this particular video. So today is going to be a bourbon flight. So you have five different bourbons here, all labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, this is all blind. I have no idea of what bourbon is in which number. I know overall what bourbons they have been selected from, but the objective of today's video is just that we'll go over all of these, uh, do a little bit of nosing, try to have a look at the colors, the smell, the taste profile, and I'll try and rate the bourbons in terms of what I think I like better. So it's a very subjective video, and I don't think I'm in a position to really guess, or I'm not strong enough to understand which one is what. But I'll try. If I can guess something, I'll put my thoughts down, and by the end of the video, we'll go back and refer the wife's list as to what is what, and there you go. That's how it's gonna go about. So let's start with bourbon one. Bourbon one. I can see a nice dark color. Yeah, I
Can you
get a
show us
nice
the color?
sweetness. The camera. Yeah. So first we're just gonna do a nosing of all the bourbons. I'll just try and see what I can get. The first one, what I'm can get a nice caramel sweetness to it. Yeah, that's the most prominent note. Let's see. I'm just gonna smell a little bit of my skin just to get. This is much paler. Even in color, it looks pretty pale. I think this is one of the bourbons that might be lower aged or not as aged. Number three is very similar to number one. I can get the again a deeper color. I think I can smell stronger alcohol here. Number two felt like it was lower proof alcohol, something more like 40%. This could be the case. This number one and number three feel like they are a bit on the stronger side. Let's go for number four. Four looks to be a bit more deeper in color compared to number three. The reason why I talk a little bit more about color when it comes to bourbon is I believe unlike Scotch, where they do add coloring agents, bourbon they don't add any coloring agents. So most likely, the darker colors are likely to come from the bourbons that are aged more. So might be a way to try and draw some correlation. Yeah, here I can distinctly get some more sweetness. I think this is the sweetest bourbon amongst the four, at least in terms of the nosing. Let's go to number five. In terms of, I would say color wise, 5, 4, and 1 are on the deeper color end in comparison to the rest. I think a little bit of bit light on the nose. Can get a little bit of a spirity feel, but I think I got the spirity feel on number two. Number five would be a little bit on the spirity side as well. So let's try go for a sip and try to understand. I can feel the heat as it goes through. Definitely, I'll say that some of the this is slightly on the viscous side. The taste profile in terms of smoothness, yes, I do feel it's quite a smooth bourbon, and typical tastes of um, what can you say? It's like kind of you can feel a bit of sugar. You can feel a bit of vanilla, a little bit of just give, just having a little bit of water to cleanse my palate a little bit. So let's go to number two. In terms of, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Let me just do one quick round. I'll try and do a little bit of tasting, try to understand the taste profile, and then do one more round before I give my ratings. And equally enjoyable. Number two has been not. I might have uh, tried to give away some kind of a judgment based on the my assessment of proof based on the nosing, but in terms of taste, I think it's a bit hard to pick between two and one. It's quite similar in taste. Let's try a little bit of three. Three was the sweetest of all of them, as far as I can remember. I can still feel that on the nose. It's got a nice finish as well. Three has got that little bit of sweetness on the extra sweetness on the nose, and even the finish is a bit more smoother when compared to number two or number one. Three so far has been a bit impressive. Found four to be smoother compared to one and two, definitely, and four has got, I think, the texture or it's more silky and a little bit more buttery on taste. Four in comparison to the rest. Let's look at five. Five feels strong. Five feels more harsher on the swallow. You can feel a little bit of the proof and the heat. Yeah. So we basically went through one to five all through in terms of the nosing and the first taste. From the first round of tasting, I would prefer, like, I would call number three to be one of the drinks that really appeal to me on first taste. I will say that. Number two, I would say, was one of my lesser favorite ones. But then again, let's do one more quick round of tasting. And after that, I'll just introduce you to what all of these bourbons were. And I'll probably talk about my personal preference as far as I'm aware of the bourbons. I'll give them my preferential ranking based on what I've tasted, and then we'll compare how I rank them in terms of 1 to 5. So let's do a quick comparison. Let me do this time 5 through to 1 because I kind of got a good idea of 1 and 2, and by the time I go down to 4 and 5, it's a bit hard to keep track. It's a first time thing, so I would have liked to make a shorter video, but with 5 drinks, you gotta go through that experience. Okay. I think 5 is last I said was slightly harsh on the swallow, and the other thing about it is it doesn't feel as the creaminess is missing, which I found in a few of the other ones. Okay, let me just go down to 4. There is heat in the finish, I will say, in number 4. Yeah, it does give you a long finish, and there is it's a bit hard to remember what is the standout. I'm trying to understand which will be the standout flavor of each of the drinks as I'm having them, but some of them it's a bit hard to keep. Let's see, number 3. Yeah, I think number 3 is, again, as I mentioned, it still remains sweet. It's very smooth on the throat, right? And it feels slightly lower proof. Lower proof. Number 2 feels can feel a little bit of the spiritiness in number 2, if I'm not wrong. Number 1 definitely feels highest proof. I can feel the strong heat as you drink the bourbon. I think yeah, it's a solid one. Number 1 is pretty solid. No. Number 4. I'm just thinking between number 4 and number 3. These might be my 3, 4, and 1 might be my preferred ones. I'm just gonna have a quick look at them again. Okay, 3, 4, and 1. Yeah. So here you go. in terms of my preferred. Okay, give me a minute or so. Let me just organize my thoughts. I'll give my rankings in 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, let's do it right away. Let's not dilly-dally. Okay. In terms of my least favorite, I think I will put number 2 as my least favorite. Number 5, rank number 5. And then in terms of the next least favorite, is it going to be number 5? Maybe it might be number 5 will be the next least favorite. 5 4. In terms of my favorite, it'll have to be between 3 4 and 1. It's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna give third rank will go for number 4, the second rank for number 2, and the first rank for number 1. So I don't know what these are. It's definitely very, very difficult. But as far as I have tried and tasted the alcohols from what I've tried, I'll tell you what I feel each of them might be. I think benchmark, this is definitely, this is one of the lower price point alcohols. This is one of my lesser favorite ones. Here we have Wild Turkey 101, 8 years old, highest proof, 50 proof. And definitely Knobcreek. This is one of the sweeter ones. I think this might be here. And Buffalo Trace, again, one of the classic ones, 94 proof. No, it's 45% alcohol, so it's 90 proof. So that might come in either number 4 or 5. And Elijah Craig, 94 proof, again, pretty smooth. That might be number 5.
So number 1 is?
I don't know, it's a bit hard for me to guess. I think number 1 is Wild Turkey. I think number 2 is Benchmark. I think number 3 is Knobcreek. 4 is Buffalo Trace. I could be very, very wrong here. This is my random guess. Let's try and find out what is what. Let's get the answers. 1. What is 1?
Knobcreek.
Oh, 1 was Knobcreek. I like Knobcreek the best, huh? Oh my god, okay. Number 2?
Benchmark.
Benchmark. See, I told you number 2 was Benchmark. Okay. Number 3?
Buffalo Trace.
Oh, Buffalo Trace is really sweet, huh? I thought it was slightly lower proof, but yeah, I do like Buffalo Trace. And then what's number 4?
Elijah Craig.
Oh, Elijah Craig. Yeah, I should have. And number 5?
Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey. Okay. Yeah.
You only got one right.
I only got one right. I know the bad one, I got it right. At least I think I'm there. But between these 4, I think except for this one, I got the rest of all of them mixed up. So let's get the right order now. 1 was Knobcreek, 2 is Benchmark, 3 was
Buffalo Trace.
4 was
Elijah Craig.
And 5 was Wild Turkey. And in terms of my preferences, I gave my first rank to number 1, and I gave this as my 5th preference. I preferred this the least, and then I gave third one. Oh, this third, and of course this is 4th. So in terms of what my blind testing told me, was this was my number 1, This was my last. Buffalo Trace was my second. Elijah Craig was my third. Wild Turkey was my fourth. And Benchmark was my last. So at least I was able to identify what I did not like. But between the four of them, it was a bit hard, definitely speaking. It is not something that was that easy. I could say that I have written a note here that slightly lower proof when it came to number 3, which was Buffalo Trace at 45%, 90 proof. That's lower proof in comparison to 101 and Elijah Craig and Knobcreek. So at least there I was relatively right. But between a flight of 5 bourbons, tasting them and understanding the difference has been quite an experience for me. I thank again my wife for being a part of this experience. And I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it. And whenever you do get a chance, do try all of these out. I'll try and do a separate review for each of them. I've done one for Buffalo Trace. I've not reviewed any of the other bourbons. So I look forward to doing that before all of the bottles get emptied. So I'll try and do that. Do stay tuned in, hit the subscribe button, do like the video, share. See you until next time. Cheers.